Welcome to the Epic Industry Track. I'm Craig Hansen, also known as Bash Coder Reptiles. Tonight we have a real treat. A lot of you, especially in the gecko world, know Jon DeBoer from Pangea. Jon is the general manager, and he's worked there for 17 years. Jon, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks, Craig.
Pangea is the leading brand of gecko diet. You guys have the the XXX line of New Caledonian crested geckos. You guys are known as the leader in both the food space and in the animal space. Just thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thanks, Craig. Thanks for those awesome words. I appreciate it. All right, guys.
Bob?
Oh,
sorry.
no worries.
So Jon is going to be talking to us about building sales through new channels. And so he's going to give a presentation now. Take it away, Jon.
Thanks, Craig. All right, guys. So I'm excited to talk to you today. A little out of my wheelhouse, I'm not going to lie, but that's okay. That is okay. So let's see. You guys see that all right? There we go. All right. So first of all, I want to thank our Pangea partners. So when you're building a sales channel, I think one of the best and most important things about the sales channel is your relationships with different people. So first, I want to thank Epic and Craig for hosting this event. In no particular order, I guess alphabetical order. On the right, I have Amazon, Chewy, Dr. Tim's Aquatics, Aquarium Systems, and Reptile Systems, Galapagos, Hagen-Exoterra, New Age Pet, Palm Street, Redline Science, Reptile Basics, Responsible Reptile Keeping, Wild Type Podcasts, ZooMed, and many more. These are all different vendors and people and associations that we work with, Pangea partners, to make sales channels happen very successfully. So, once again, I'm Jon DeBoer. I'm the general manager at Pangea Reptile, and today I'm talking about building sales through new channels. Before we start, I want to say a definition, right? What is a sales channel? A sales channel is really any pathway or method used by a company to sell its products or service to customers, okay? So it can include retail stores, which are physical locations where products are sold directly to consumers. Let's think like Petco or PetSmart, but also like your local shops, like mom and pop shops where you buy pets and pet supplies. Physical locations, right? Next is going to be online stores, so e-commerce websites like PangeaReptile.com or marketplaces such as Chewy, eBay, Amazon, even like TikTok or Instagram. These are where transactions are occurring digitally. Next, we have wholesale distributors, aka vendors or dealers. Essentially, these are your brand partners who purchase products in bulk to resell them. We ourselves made a program that is now called Pangea for Professionals for our wholesale distributors. We further break this down into 3 sections: distributors, pet stores, and vendors. And this is one of our biggest avenues for sales. Next, we have direct sales. So these are sales conducted directly to the companies, or directly by the company's own sales forces. For us, it would be like going to reptile expos. You're seeing Pangea at NARBCs, AARPE, different shows. There, Pangea is selling directly to customers. This is something we don't do, but it is present in the pet industry, in reptiles in particular. Franchises. So these are going to be like outlets that are owned and operated by individuals under the company's brand, and they have guidelines. An example I can think of is Petland. It's a pretty sweet company. There are a lot of Petlands out there. They're not all the same, though, because they're franchised, meaning some of the stores are owned by different individuals who manage and operate them, and put a little unique twist on their store. Of course, there are plenty of other methods too. Really, it's anything that results in a transaction can be considered a sales channel. Before I talk more about sales channel, I'll give you a little background about myself. This is so you can understand where I'm coming from and how I kind of grew and learned about sales channels myself. So I knew nothing about sales channels when I first started working for Pangea. I was a cage cleaner. I cleaned cages. I fed geckos. That was about 17 years ago. I was as Craig said, I was the second employee at Pangea. I was with the company for a solid 5 years. There, I was attending expos for Pangea, developing protocols and manufacturing products, and doing a little bit with sales channels. From there, I was in my final years in college, and Matt Parks, the owner, he's a big proponent of education, and he really encouraged me to continue my education. And so I went and got my master's degree at Villanova University, and I'm now finishing up my PhD at the University of Nevada in Reno. However, about 3 years ago, I came back to Pangea to full-time to run the company as the general manager. And I will admit, while I have no real formal training in business management, I understand numbers very well. And in general, I'm a person who likes to save, which has helped me make better and more informed business decisions. I myself, I've been running a small hobby business called Jackos Geckos that has helped me survive as a student for over 7 years. But it's allowed me to stay very tied to the reptile community while at school. And there I had a lot of practice with sales channels. I started this business while in college and while working at Pangea. The main rule was that I could not overlap with Pangea, so obviously I couldn't do crested geckos. So I did these little geckos called Urodactylotes. I had to find my own niche, and which in the end really paid off. I specialized and focused, kind of helping me form and manage and create a successful small business. And now I think I'm known pretty well for these geckos. And so through Jackos Geckos, I started new sales channels on my own, and I've learned a lot along the way. All right, so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Pangea's sales channel history. So these are just examples, and I'll be going more into detail about specific goals and items that you should be keeping in mind when starting new sales channels. But I'll give you some examples how we kind of evolved over time. So I kind of want to show you what your journey might look like. Keep in mind, our journey here is about 25 years. And this little graphic I made is not up to scale. So in the beginning, we really started with two things. Website, PangeaReptile.com, and two is going to reptile expos. I think these are both very achievable things for someone just starting and getting new sales channels themselves. So you want to do an online store so you're accessible to pretty much everyone. It's a very great way. However, you should be doing things like reptile expos, and this helps you develop street cred. So no one wants to go to a website that they have nothing, they don't know anything about. It's just a random website. It's going to be a hard sell to sell your animals or supplies on a random website. That's why you go to reptile expos and other places to get your name out there, develop street cred, and then people go to your website. So after a while, we were approached by a lot of people saying they liked our products. So we started producing Pangea diets. People liked them. They wanted to sell them themselves. So we developed a wholesale program, and that's where we had dealers. And that was a really great way. Dealers are, like I said before, a sales channel in themselves. All right, so eventually we added distribution in a larger, more corporate form, which I would call Amazon. And then also Facebook. So what I'd call this is diversifying your revenue streams. Facebook might not be so, pretty big difference between Amazon and Facebook, right? One's very corporate, one is social media. Facebook might not be, and it is not actually the greatest place to sell reptiles anymore. But back in the day, it was actually an amazing platform for you to showcase your geckos, and then people would buy them pretty much straight from Facebook. So next we have is Chewy. So we added Chewy on pretty early. We did this. It's enhancing your brand visibility. It's getting your name out there. It's showing people Pangea. It's just a lot of repetition. And then eventually, so I can't remember what platform we had before, but we shifted to Shopify, which is what hosts PangeaReptile.com. And with that, it has the Shop app. And that's a sales channel in itself through Shopify. And this is what I would call a competitive advantage. So competitive advantage is when you are doing something that other competitors might not be doing. And I don't think anybody really uses the Shop app, like competitors or people in general. But it could be something that comes big. It was a very, very low-hanging fruit for us. So it just made sense to pick it up as a sales channel and be able to sell our products through it. Another sales channel I would consider is affiliates. We've done a couple things with affiliates, and really the key thing to know about affiliates is that they are advocates. They are advocates for your brand. They are selling your brand by telling people that they like your stuff, because they are influencers in themselves. Associated to that are TikTok and Instagram. This is something I would call like leveraging your technology. So these didn't exist when we first started, right? So throughout time, emerging platforms or different digital marketing places can offer innovative ways really for you to reach your customers. Okay, so eventually, like, you should be adding new things, but you can also be looking at things that you're already doing. So adding new expos, reptile expos, it could be another low-hanging fruit for you. You got a good system, you know what you want to do, so that you just got to sign up, go to new places to expand your reach. Next is MorphMarket. Of course, that's another competitive advantage thing. You got to be in it to stay relevant, right? So I use something called fauna classifieds. That is probably considered pretty outdated at this point. I really liked it. You could just find a lot of oddball stuff on there. But a lot of people these days are using MorphMarket. It has really good SEO. So when you're searching for buying geckos, like, MorphMarket's just going to pop up. So you got to stay relevant. Lastly, I have Chewy on here again. So somewhere along this timeline, we stopped sending stuff to Chewy. I just think we didn't have the processes, the manpower, the resources to do Chewy right. When I came back 3 years ago, I was like, what's up with this? Why aren't we using Chewy anymore? And then we revisited that and got Chewy back on. We got back on Chewy, and I think that's been a really great relationship so far. All right, so you begin. You're like, I know what I'm doing. You start your sales channels of PangeaReptile.com and going to expos. It's working really well for you. So why do more? I think it's pretty apparent to most people, but I'm going to go through a couple things, just what we went through pretty much. So expanding your reach is number one, right? New sales channels helps you tap into different customer base that you might not be reaching with your existing channels. Number two is diversifying your revenue streams. So relying on a single channel can be risky. So say we were only relying on Facebook for gecko sales, and then Facebook's like, no more gecko sales. That could be horrible for your business. So and having new channels can help spread the risk and reduce dependency on a single source of revenue. Adapting to changing customer behaviors. So like I said earlier, some things like TikTok and Instagram, they didn't exist at the very beginning. So, and especially today, the last 10, 15 years, customers have been really shifting towards online shopping or mobile purchasing. So launching new channels that align with these behaviors can really improve your accessibility and engagement with these customers. I mean, think about even pet stores. A lot of pet stores, they have their brick and mortar retail spot, but they also have an online shop too, where they're also selling their products, their animals, etc., to these online people. Enhancing your brand visibility. This means a new sales channel often means increased exposure. As we said, it can help really build your brand awareness. You just want to have, Pangea everywhere. Let people know that you're accessible, and for people to be able to see your different products. Competitive advantage. You want to offer your product and service through channels that may set you apart from other competitors who are limited to fewer methods of distribution. So I said a couple examples, but really what I'm thinking about also is, like, for us, Pangea could be number one in the US, but Pangea might not be number one in Europe or other countries like that, because they have multiple sales channels that they're more easily accessible to. So they have a larger competitive advantage on that. So just be thinking about that when developing your sales channels. Lastly, I didn't really talk much about this, but this is an important one. You might want to have different sales channels to optimize your profit margins. Different sales channels really offer a variety amount of costs in profit margins. So for instance, like PangeaReptile.com, going to Reptile Expos, they're going to yield higher margins than other sales channels such as Amazon, because there's associated costs that really bring down your margins. All right, so it's not always easy to start new sales channels. There's a lot of pros, but there's also a lot of things to keep in mind. So when starting a new sales channel, it is essential to consider a range of factors to really ensure smooth integration and success. And here are some key things to consider. So number one is going to be channel policies and compliance. So you need to make sure you develop clear guidelines regarding pricing, returns, promotions, specific to each new sales channel. You also need to keep in mind legal and regulatory compliances, and make sure that your sales channel complies with local laws, industry regulations, etc. I think like data protection, consumer rights, and stuff like that. Make sure you have those on your platforms, because that protects you as a company. And really, each one's different. So it is a learning experience. You might get some warnings, and that's okay. Just make sure you comply with them to continue your business. Okay, so number two is enhance customer service. This is very important. I'm not going to lie, I'm not the best at customer service, and that's why we have an amazing team to do customer service. So you might yourself consider having a team do customer service for you while you can work on other projects to build your business. But you must consider, while having your team, that you're going to need training. You might need some new equipment for these new sales channels. And they're going to face, or you are going to face, new challenges that you might not see before to each specific platform. I can think, for example, Palm Street. Love Palm Street. it's totally different. It's a totally different customer basis. They ask different questions. We get a lot of plant people there. Um, while they might be thoroughly educated in plants, they might not know a lot about reptiles. And it's we're hitting a new sales channel, but we're facing different challenges. At the same time, though, we need to ensure that there is a seamless integration between our existing support systems, our customer service, um, and the new channels. We need to make sure they have consistent service across the sales. That's really important. It's something that's very easy in some situations, but might be a little difficult in others. Right now with Palm Street, it's just me doing the customer service. I'd like to get our team on there. They're working on some different levels of access to be able to make that happen. Okay, continuing on, balancing existing clients' relationships. This is very important. Your current your foundation sales channels, you developed a client basis, you have client loyalty. So you need to make sure you develop strategies to maintain a strong relationship with your current clients while attracting the new clients through the new channel.
Sorry, everybody. John's having some issues with his audio. So this has been a great seminar so far. I mean, he's telling us everything we need to know about how to build incremental sales channels. Notice each one of these things is a step. It's not like start a whole new business in order to grow. He's saying first try expos, then try Facebook, then try, you know, other things. And so they've keep in mind as he's talking about this, they've had real two lines of business that are very different, that they've been pursuing. One being the animal side, and the other being the gecko diet side. Um, so a lot of their competitors are worldwide. So when he's talking about things like being able to have competitive advantages. Other people may have competitive advantages in another market where you might have one in your market. So all that's great stuff. I think the point is that we need to be able to identify new places to go. And like he said, with profit margins, each channel is going to have a different profit margin and different rules and different considerations. So for example, if you have a business and you've created a new product for the reptile industry and you want to sell that wholesale, you're going to sell in bulk, but at a lower profit margin, right? And if you want to sell direct, you're going to have your highest profit margin because you're not paying any distributors, you're not paying any warehousers, you're doing it all yourself. And the middle ground here is when you have different channels like other retailers. So when they send their product out to another retailer like Chewy.com, they're going to be sort of splitting that margin between the retailer and themselves, as opposed to getting all the margin if they sell direct. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, he's trying to log in again. Okay, here we go. We're trying to join. Do we have your audio? No! We don't have your audio. I don't know what went wrong, John. Can you hear me? Yeah, great. Okay. What we're going to do is, if we can, we're going to try to publish this PDF, if that's okay, John, with your permission, for people to go. Do you want to walk through the PDF and I'll talk through it a little bit? Can't hear you. All right, guys, terribly sorry about that. We're trying a new platform and we're having a few glitches here and there, but I really hope the other sessions are going well. He's sending me a text. Hey.
Hey, sorry, I have no idea what's going on.
Why don't you continue and I'll hold this right up to the mic, okay? Go ahead.
Okay, I'll make sure to not, let's see. I don't want any crazy feedback or anything.
No, it'll
Sorry
be good.
about that, guys. I have no idea what happened. I even started a new browser. Like, I switched from Chrome to the Safari, and it still didn't help. So
crazy.
Wild. All right. Do you want me to continue? I can continue. I know we're short on time too.
So what? I think we are short on time. We're going to have to wrap it up.
Okay, no worries. I guess my final thing to say to everyone is, I think you should be exploring new different sales channels. Keep in mind some of these factors that I talked about. I'm happy to discuss them more with you if you want at some other time. You really going to these different places, creating a well-integrated and customer, friendly, effective sales channels supports your sales growth, but also it extends a hand to your existing clients and tells them like, hey, you're still relevant, you're doing new things, and you're excited about business. So, well, thanks for having me. I'm sorry again about
I'm sorry too, John.
The mic cutting out.
Well, at least we got the majority of your presentation, and thanks for doing this. And everybody, you know where to get your Pangea stuff.
Yeah.
See
Thanks,
y'all.
Guys.
Bye-bye.
We'll see ya.